Yo, what's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Triple B's is back in the Haunted Basement studio, and welcome and thank you for joining me today. And in this episode, we're going to talk about Scream, the 1993 horror film directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. It had a $15 million budget, which went to go ahead and gross $173 million in the box office. And I was one of the lucky ones to go see it in the movie theater when it came out. And I had no idea what I was going to go see. I didn't watch any trailers. I just went with some of my cousins. And after I got done watching that, my mind was easy now, man. You can't swear in the first minute of the YouTube video. But anyways, my mind was going crazy. I couldn't believe they actually make a horror movie like this, how witty it is and how self-aware of all the rules that come with a horror movie. Absolutely amazing. And without further ado, let's get right into the opening scene. The scene lasted about 13 minutes long, and I'm gonna go right through it right now. Drew Barrymore is in this movie, and she's awesome as Casey, although she doesn't last in the movie very long, and that's what makes this movie so great with this opening scene. She's home alone and she's waiting for her boyfriend Steve to come over so they can watch some scary movies. We know this because she got a wrong number phone call from a guy and he keeps calling her back. And with her being so naive, she falls into his game. As she's making popcorn, the caller asks her, "What's your favorite scary movie?" She says, "I don't know." "Come on, you gotta have a favorite scary movie." She's like, "Halloween. You know that one with the guy at the white mask and he stalks the babysitters?" He's like, "Yeah, I like that one." She's like, "What about you? Do you have a favorite scary movie?" "Why don't you guess?" She's like, "I don't know. How about Nightmare on 13th?" Nightmare on 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street. And he's like, "Is that the one who has knives for fingernails?" "Yeah, Freddy Krueger." "Yeah, that one was scary." "You never told me your name." "Why do you want to know my name?" "Because I want to know who I'm looking at." "What'd you say?" "I want to know who I'm talking to." "That's not what you said." And she hangs up and she walks away, but he calls right back because he wants to talk. And she says, "Listen, asshole." "No, you listen, you little bitch. You hang up on me one more time, I'm gonna cut you like a fish. You understand?" What, is this some kind of joke? "More like a game, really. Can you handle that, Blondie?" And now it's time to go lock all the doors, and she does that, and she's looking out the window. She hears in the phone, "Can you see me? Can you see me? Listen, I'm about 2 seconds away from calling the police." "Go ahead, they'll never make it." And then at that time, the doorbell rings, and she turns around. "Who is it?" "Don't you know you never say, 'Who is it?' You might as well go investigate a strange noise. My boyfriend's big, and he plays football, and when he gets here, he's gonna kick your ass." "His name wouldn't happen to be Steve, would it?" "How do you know that?" "Turn on the lights." She turns on the light, and Steve now is duct taped to a chair out on the patio, and he's just all scared and looks like he's got some blood on it. And then the killer says, "I want to play a game." She's like, "No." "Then he dies right now." "No." "Well, which is it?" "What kind of game?" "Turn off the lights and you'll see what kind of game. Just do it." "All right, here's how we play. I'm going to ask you a question, and if you get it right, Steve lives." "No." "Come on, it's going to be fun. It's easy. It's movie trivia category." She's like, "No, no." "I'll even give you a warm-up question. Name the killer in Halloween." "No, I can't." "Come on, you said that it was your favorite scary movie." Michael. Michael. Yes, you are right. And now for the real question." No, I already got it." "Name the killer in Friday the 13th. "Jason. It's Jason." Wrong answer. No, it's Jason. I saw that movie 13 goddamn times. I know it's Jason. Well, if you saw that movie that many times, you know Jason didn't show up till the sequel. And in the original, it was his mother, Pamela Voorhees, that was the killer. You tricked me. Lucky for you, there's a bonus round. But poor old Steve, he is out. And then she goes and runs to the patio light and turns it on and looks out the window. And she sees Steve there, and he's all gutted and all of his guts are coming out of him. And she just screams and turns off the light, and she hides behind her TV console, and she's just kind of curled up in a fetal position. Hey, I'm not through with you yet. I have one more question. No, just leave me alone. Answer the question and I will. What door am I at? What? What door am I at? What do you mean? There's 2 doors to your house. Which one am I at? I can't. Your call. And now the smoke from the popcorn's just fucking filling up the kitchen. And then she runs outside and then fucking she shuts the door. She looks inside. She sees a man in a Ghostface outfit and a cloak running through her house. And as she hides, she's gonna freaking try to walk and get into the front yard. She sees headlights coming down the driveway. And as she slowly gets over there, she walks past the window and then she looks at the window and someone turns around and it's Ghostface and scares the shit out of her. And he breaks through the glass and fucking jumps out there and then he stabs her a few times. And then the phone, she has the phone on the hook. It's still on. And she slowly starts to walk towards the front door. Her parents are right there and they're walking into the house, but she's coming up the side and then she's like, Mom, and she can't talk as they walk inside. The parents see the house, like smoke everywhere, and then they're like, sees that the place is in like a mess, like somebody broke in. And the dad's like, fucking call the cops. And the mom grabs the phone to call the cops. And then they can hear Casey on the other end. And she's like getting killed. She's pretty much being dragged. And the dad grabs the phone, hears it, and then he's like, oh my God. Listen, go get in the car and go down to Mackenzie's house. And then call the cops. And then as she opens up the front door, you see Casey hanging from a tree with blood and guts just everywhere. Cut credit or cut fucking opening scene. Damn, now that's how you make an opening scene to a movie. Like, they haven't done one like that, like ever. And then now everybody kind of tries to copy it, but now everyone's kind of went away from it. But it really fucking set the tone for what Scream was going to be. And it fucking was going to be a damn slasher. It's going to be whodunit, and you're going to have some great acting in it. I don't think this movie would have fucking done anything if it wasn't for the acting. The acting in it is top notch. So speaking of the actors, man, we got Neve Campbell in this with David Arquette, Courtney Cox. We got Matthew Lillard, Rose McGowan, Skeet Ulrich, Jamie Kennedy. Fuck, man, we got the Fonz in here with Henry Winkler, and we got Robert L. Jackson as the voice of Ghostface. Fuck, did I miss anybody? Lee Schreiber, fucking Drew Barrymore, Joseph Whipp, and then W.R. Brown. Alright, so after that crazy first act opening, I had to fucking really go into detail. The rest, I'm just going to talk about the plot, and then we're going to talk about the ending, and then we're going to give you my final thoughts plus the ranking. So let's go right now. The plot is fucking pretty much after that murder of Casey and Steve, the whole school is like on lockdown, is getting investigated. They need to interview all the students. They need to find out who did this, because in a small town of Woodsboro, shit like this hardly ever goes down. And so we're introduced to Neve Campbell, which is Sidney. She's going to be our final girl. And with her friends, looks like she has a boyfriend named Billy, played by Skeet Ulrich, and then Billy's friend, which is Matthew Lillard, which is Stu Mocker, and Rose McGowan, and that's Tatum. with their friend Randy, and who's played by Jamie Kennedy, and Stu's telling them about that it takes a man to do something like this, and Tatum's like, what, that's sexist, and they kind of go back and forth, maybe a man's mentality, and then Jamie's like, hey, didn't you know Casey? Didn't you date her? Does the fucking cops know that you used to date the victim here? And he's like, yeah, but I dumped her ass for Tatum. And he's like, no, didn't she dump your ass for Steve? And then Tatum kind of looks at him, and then he's like, oh, I ought to gut you right now. Tatum jumps in and says, by the way, Stu was with me last night. Yeah, I was, he says. And he says, by the way, I didn't kill anybody. And Billy and them look at each other and says, nobody said you did. And they kind of gave this weird fucking look, and like, kind of like, all right, that was kind of strange. Randy says, and besides, it takes a man to do something like that. And Sue says, you ought to gut your ass right now, kid. Tell me, did you put her liver in a mailbox? Because they said that they found her liver in a mailbox next to her spleen and her pancreas. Tatum's getting all pissed. Goon, I'm trying to fucking eat here. Stu's like, you're getting her mad. You better leave her alone. You better leave her alone, man. You better leave her alone. What? Later that night, Tatum's supposed to pick up Sidney so they can go watch movies and she can have a sleepover because Sidney's father is out of town. And so she falls asleep on the couch and wakes up, and it's dark outside. And the atmosphere of this house really shows you that it is out in the middle of nowhere. Like, her backyard is just a forest. And it's fucking pretty cool. So now you really feel isolated in this house. And so Tatum calls, and she's like, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm going to the video store, pick up fucking video of Tom Cruise, see his penis. And she's like, whatever, just hurry up and come pick me up. And so she hangs up, and then the phone rings again. God damn it, Tatum, just pick out a movie and get in the car. Hello, Sidney. She's like, who's this? You tell me. I really don't know. You called me. And Ghostface asked, do you like scary movies? And she's like, oh, Randy, you gave it away. Hey, Tatum's there. Tell her to fucking hurry up, pretty much. And they start going back and forth. And she's like, I don't like scary movies. He's like, why? He's like, they're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who's always running upstairs instead of going out the front door. It's insulting. Are you alone in the house? Oh, Randy, I'm disappointed in you. That's so unoriginal. Maybe because I'm not Randy. Well then, who are you? The question isn't, who am I? The question is, where am I? Well, then where are you at? Your front door. Huh, why would you be calling me from my front porch? So she's gonna go walk over to her front porch, and she's like, turns on the light, and she's like, I call your bluff. And she unlocks her front door, and she walks out, and there's nobody there. She walks outside, and she's walking around. She like picks her nose. She's like, can you see me? He's like, yes, I can see you. What am I doing? She's like, yeah, right, Randy. Tell Tatum to hurry up. And then she goes back inside and shuts the door and puts the chain on it. And then she turns around, and Ghostface comes busting out of the closet door, and fucking he grabs her and he throws her on the ground, and he's getting ready to stab her. And then right when he goes to stab her, she leg swipes him. He falls on the ground, and then Sidney gets up and runs towards the front door, and she tries to open it, but the chain stops her from fucking opening it. And then she fucking turns around, and then she runs up the stairs. And then she's able to get into her room, and she locks it pretty good where Ghostface can't get in. And so she calls 911 from her computer, and then Ghostface disappears. And then like 3 or 4 seconds later, Billy comes busting in through her window. He's like, oh my God, I heard screaming. Are you okay? And she's like, oh my God, Billy. And then they bring, she helps him into her room, and then she's hugging him. And then as she's hugging him, a cellular telephone falls on the floor. And then she looks down, and she looks up at him, and he looks at her. And then she fucking turns around and bolts it downstairs. She makes it to the front door. She unlocks the chain. She opens the door, and there's the Ghostface mask Dewey's holding. And she's like, ah! And Dewey's like, I found this mask. And so that was a pretty damn good scene. Um, but it was kind of weird how Billy was there so fast. You know, is there two killers in this one? And then Billy then now is hauled off to jail for questioning. And later that night, Sydney's at Hayden's house and she gets a phone call and she's wondering if it's her dad. But they're like, I don't think so. She goes and answers the phone and it's Ghostface. And he's like, huh, looks like you pinned the wrong guy again. And so she flips out, and that's kind of cool how they did that to make you think that Billy is not the killer, and Sidney then to make you her think that he's not the killer either, because he's in jail, so he can't call her. And even later on in the movie, she asks him, who did you call when you were in jail? He's like, my dad. He's like, no, Sheriff Brackett called me. Brackett called me dad. And he's like, yeah, because when I did, he didn't answer. And she's like, oh, I think that would be kind of a deceiving way for, a cunning way, clever way to you call me from jail with one phone call to throw me off. And, he turns around and he's just like, what do I got to do to get through your head that I'm not the killer? But we all know the truth, Billy. And now we go to the video store where Stu and Randy are talking about the killings and speculating who the killer may be. Randy's like, I think it's Billy. He's got killer written all over his forehead. Stu's like, okay, really? If you're so smart, then why did the cops let him go? Obviously, they don't watch enough movies, specifically horror movies. This is standard horror movie stuff. Prom Night Revisited? Yo, so why would he want to kill his girlfriend? There's always some bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend. Maybe Sidney wouldn't have sex with him. And now that Billy's out of the picture, you think I have a chance with Sidney? No, not at all. So why can't they find their father? Where's their pops at? Because he's probably dead. His body will pop up in the last reel somewhere. His eyes gouged out, his teeth knocked in, his fingers cut off. The police are way off on their shit. If they would just watch Prom Night, they would have all this figured out. There's a formula to this, a very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect. The dad is the red herring. It's always been Billy. And he turns around and Billy's right there and he's face to face and Randy's this, oh shit. And Billy's like, maybe your movie freak mind has finally lost its reality. You are the number one suspect. Yeah, I admit, if this was a horror movie, I would be the number one suspect. Then what is your motive? The millennium. Haha, so fucking funny, man. I absolutely love the fucking video store scene. It does not bring back memories to y'all when you used to go rent movies at like Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, or some mom and pop store that had videotapes. But that shit was so funny. And now let's get into the final act. All right, man. So they're having a little house party at Stu's house, and Dewey shows up there, and Gail Weathers. Him and Gail decide to go inside to check out the party. Gail slips a hidden camera in the living room by the TV, and Stu asks Tatum, hey, can you go grab some more beer in the garage? What am I, the beer witch? But she goes into the garage where she's encountered with Ghostface, and she just thinks that it's Randy. And she's like, oh, Randy, you better fucking take that costume off. Fucking Sidney's gonna flip out. And she fucking goes and tries to walk past him, and he won't let her. And she's like, what is this? What movie is this from? I spit on your garage. Come on, Casper, let me go. And Ghostface pulls out a knife, and then he cuts her on her arm, and then she knows that it's fucking real. But man, she fucks him up a lot. She fucking throws the fucking refrigerator door, hits him, fucking knocks him on the ground, has beer bottles, throws a beer bottle, hits him right in the fucking balls. It breaks. Throws another one right in the face. It breaks. She goes running up to the stairs. He goes and tries and catches her. She fucking flips him up and he fucking falls on the stairs. And then she makes the dumb idea to try to go out the doggy door of the garage door. And as she goes and climbs through the doggy door, he hits the button and the door goes up while she's stuck in it and crushes her head. And he slowly walks back into the party. Billy now shows up at the party while most of the party leaves due to curfew. And the remaining people at the party, they go and watch Halloween in the living room while Billy and Sidney go upstairs. And so they're watching Halloween, and Brandy's talking about the rules of the movie. And he's like, wait, you don't know the rules? Hey, there are certain rules that one must abide by to successfully survive a horror movie. For instance, rule number 1, you can never have sex. They're like, boo, boo. Hey, and rule number 2, because it's a sin, hey, no drinking and no drugs. Hey, cheers to that, y'all. And number 3, under any circumstances, don't you ever say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back. I'll find you in the kitchen with a knife. Hey man, do you want a beer? Yeah, I want a beer. I'll be right back. Oh! Gail and Dewey go investigate a strange car somewhere parked down the road while everybody at the house discovered that the principal has been killed, and they all fucking take off. So there's only a certain people left at the house. We got Stu, Billy, and Sidney, and then we got Gail and her cameraman and Dewey, and we got Randy. Billy and Sidney just got done having sex, and as they're putting on their clothes, they are talking, and then all of a sudden Ghostface shows up behind Billy and appears to stab him a couple times. He turns around and he's got blood all over his shirt, and Sydney's freaking out. She takes off running. She locks the door. She fucking goes running downstairs. But apparently Ghostface knows his house because he comes around another doorway. So she has to turn back around, and as she runs to go through a doorway, he's about ready to grab her, and she fucking slams the door on him and fucks him up. She locks herself above the garage where she's able to get out, and she falls onto a boat that's tarped. Luckily, she's okay, but then she looks up and she sees Tatum's dead body. Meanwhile, Ghostface goes back downstairs, and Randy's on the couch by himself. And it's the scene in Halloween where there is Michael Myers right behind his victim. And in the little camera that they snuck in to the living room, you can see Randy's there and Ghostface is behind him. And Randy's like, behind you, look behind you. But behind him in real life, Ghostface is there. And that's where you get that classic shot from Halloween 5. If you guys haven't seen the original. All right, man. So you guys don't need to hear the rest of this ending. You guys know what happens. So fucking Gail fucking gets in the van. She fucking runs into a tree. You know, she looks dead. And now everybody kind of shows back up at the house. You got Billy coming down the stairs where he's still alive, and Sidney's there, and Stu and Randy are outside, and she has the gun. And Dewey also has been stabbed, and it shows the knife in his back. And so now Sidney has the gun. Billy's coming down the stairs. Fucking Stu and Randy are at the front porch. She locks them out, and then she gives Billy the gun, and then fucking he opens up the door, and Randy comes in, and he's like, Stu's gone mad. And then Billy turns around to him. We all go a little mad sometimes. And then shoots Randy right in the fucking shoulder, and he falls back, assuming that he's dead. And then it shows Sidney looking at Billy, and then Stu come running in, and now it reveals that Stu and Billy are the killers. And they reveal that they even have Sidney's father captured, and they're gonna frame him for everything. They got a cell phone, they got a voice manipulator, and they cloned his cell phone, and then they give her the motive. The fuck they are doing this. And Billy fucking looks at Sidney and says, maybe your slut mother was fucking my father, and that's the reason why my mother left and abandoned me. And so they tell Sidney, now it's time for the best part. And Billy fucking grabs the knife, and Stu's like, all right, baby, give it to me. And he fucking stabs him a couple times and fucking starts bleeding. And then fucking Billy gives the knife to Stu, and he's like, all right, remember, stay to the side and don't go too deep. And he fucking stabs him a couple times. And like, Sidney's like, man, you crazy motherfuckers, you watch too many scary movies. And Billy's like, here's the fucking best part. And they fucking pull Sidney's father out of the closet and reveals their plan. And he's like, hey, get the gun. And Stu's like, Houston, we have a fucking problem. The gun is missing. And then Gail Weather shows up and she's holding the fucking gun at him. And she's like, how's about this for your ending? That damsel in stress fucking saves the day, da da da. And fucking Sidney's like, I like that fucking story. And then Billy kind of looks at her and fucking she goes to shoot him, but it clicked and he fucking hits her over the head with the end of the knife. And it says the gun works better if you have the safety turn off. And fucking he takes the gun and then now it's on. And fucking they turn around and Sidney and her father are gone out of the kitchen. And they're like, what the fuck? And so now they're fucking looking for him. And Billy's yelling at Stu, but Stu is feeling a little woozy, man. He's fucking not feeling good. The phone fucking rings. And he fucking answers it. And it's Ghostface Sidney. Says, you stupid sorry asses. Guess who called the motherfucking cops? And your sorry ass is fucking going to jail. Oh, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. And he's fucking just bleeding all over the place. Billy's now looking all over the house for him, and during this time, Halloween is still playing on the TV screen in the fucking living room. So you got the score from Halloween in the final act of Scream 1, and it's doing, and it's so fucking awesome. And he gets distracted by the sound as he goes past this fucking closet door, and that's where Sidney busts out wearing the fucking Ghostface outfit and gets him and pretty much kills him. And at the very end of the movie, you know, always one more chance for the killer to come back to life. And that's where Billy's like, and it fucking, she shoots him in the head. And that's where they always got to get. You got to shoot him in the fucking head. And Dewey's still alive. Randy's still alive. Gail's still alive. And because we got to have a sequel, baby. Because these days, baby, you got to have a sequel. And we got to have survivors from the original to make the sequel. And so that is my final thoughts on Scream, the original for 1996. All right, man. My final thoughts and ranking on this was, fuck, man. It was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed watching it in the movie theaters. I enjoyed watching it on VHS. And then I enjoyed watching it on DVD. And I enjoyed watching it streaming. And it is a damn good movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. My final ranking on Scream 1996 is a 10. It's a fucking 10. I will watch this movie 37 times in a row. Yes, in a row. That means, oh, amazing, amazing movie. Chills all over. Fucking love this fucking movie. And you all tell me what you think about Scream in the comment section below. And you motherfuckers, hit that sub button on the way out. Help me get up there. I'm in the haunted basement studio. It's cold as fuck out here, down here. I fucking hear scary fucking noises all the time. Knocks. Sometimes some whispers. So if you like that, come back for more, because we are on the road to Scream 6 that's coming out here in a few weeks. So thank you all for joining me in a haunted basement studio. Triple B's is out. You motherfuckers, you keep it whore. Later.